welcome everyone. So Heroscape here today, coming at you with another installment of ranking Heroscape Age of Annihilation. Today it's going to be the Frostclaw Paladins. Now the Frostclaw Paladins are a unique squad and the first ever squad with multiple lives. So let's take a quick look at their card and then talk about their power rankings and the implications of those. So Jandar Frostclaw Paladins. We've got Ursine, which is a new species. We've got Unique Squad, so you can only have one of them in your army. They are Knights, Dauntless, and Large 6. Life 2, and that's for each figure, so essentially they're an 8-life group amongst all of them. Move 3, range 1, attack 3, defense 4, 120 points. So per figure, they're 30 points per life, per hit point, they're 15 points, which actually is pretty dang good value for 120 points for that much survivability in terms of just a life stat. Run 3 before moving a Frostclaw Paladin. You may add 3 to that figure's move value this turn. If you do, subtract 2 from that figure's attack value this turn. And Jandar Champion Bonding. Before taking a turn with the Frostclaw Paladins, you may take a turn with the champion you control who follows Jandar. A couple things. The Jandar Champion Bonding is exactly like the Knights of Weston. Knights of Weston are the same. They can bond with any Jandar champions. So they have the same synergy web here as the Knights of Weston. So they can bond with Finn, Thorgrim, Eldgrim, Gilbert, Alistair, anyone I'm missing. Denric, right? So some really cool implications there as a kind of a mini core, because for roughly 250 points, you could get 2 bonding heroes and them, or them and 1 hero for around 200 points or so, which is a solid core. If you're trying to run with some sort of range, they act as a pretty decent screen and pretty decent melee. And again, I think there's some good stuff going on here. You've got their Knight synergies, so they can buff Sir Dupuis. Sir Dupuis gets +1 attack when he's within, I think, 4 spaces of every knight, so you can kind of do some fun stuff there. You can also pair them with, them with Concan. Again, there's no bonding there, but Concan does give knights +1 attack and defense when they're adjacent, so you can kind of do, mess around with that synergy. But the biggest thing about them is that they are, again, bonding. Bonding is just good. It's a 4-figure squad that bonds. So you've got 5 figures activating per turn. And run isn't it's not necessarily situational. So it's useful for development. And that's almost entirely what you'll use them for. Turn 1 and turn 2, you'll probably use that to just develop them. So it's not really a decision. Like, you don't really need to worry about having low attack by 2 and them only getting 1 attack, because you're just developing them into the map anyway. So really, it becomes more of a decision once you've been engaged in fighting for a little bit and you're trying to gain better position. So that is one nice thing about it, is that you can try to limit how good they are or how good their position is by making sure that you keep your distance and forcing them to use the run ability, so that even if they get a good position, their initial attack isn't going to be very good. But that's where Finn, Eldgrim, Thorgrim, those bonding heroes really come in play. Eldgrim, if he dies, speeds up their movement. Finn, when he's adjacent, gives him +1 attack, so he can help offset the downside of run. Thorgrim is strictly defense, so he helps their staying ability. But you have some really interesting stuff there, because if any of those bonding heroes, Thorgrim, Finn, or Eldgrim, die, they make up the weaknesses of this squad. And I point this out because I did not think these were good at all. I thought they were actually pretty bad. until Cleon right now in the online Heroscape tournament has been running them with Eldgrim, Finn, Krav, this squad, and I think there's something else he has in there. The Tarn Vikings. And he's in the playoffs. Like, I played him in round 4. He was undefeated. Now he's, I think, 3-1 or 4-1 and in the playoffs. And it's incredible. I mean, I look at some of the armies he's played against, and I'm the only one to beat him. I beat him in round 4. But it was still a pretty decent game, pretty close game. And I just think about the army, and I'm just like, it shouldn't work. Like, it doesn't make sense that it would do so well against a lot of kind of more standard armies. But I extremely undervalued when I first was evaluating them just how good 2 life on a squad is. When your base defense is 4 and you've managed to get height or next to jungle or on shadow, it's really tough sometimes to get through that. Now, granted, we also know that defense is never, everything, and it's easy to blank and all of a sudden you take damage. But it surprised me just how often that I would do damage only by 1 wound. You have to overkill these guys to really get rid of them quickly. And that's not easy to do. When you have, again, base 4 defense, you're trying just to eke by and get that defense to get that 1 wound by to normally kill a squad figure. But when you have 2 life on a squad, all of a sudden that gets pretty interesting, because nothing really changes after you do that first wound. Like with a squad, normally, if you have multiple squads, like say, 2 squads of 4th Mass or whatever, you don't really lower their efficiency until you've gotten down to 3 left, right? Because they always get to attack 4 times. They always get to activate 4. Same thing here, is dealing that first wound doesn't really gain you much value because they still get to hit you back with 5 activations, bonding melee. And so as I was playing against him, I quickly realized just how good this squad can be because of their ability to stick around, even after taking 1 damage. It also gives you the freedom to do some really good plays, like take a disengage, because your squad figure isn't going to die if it's got the 2 life. So yeah, if you take the wound, it feels bad, but like if it's a really good position you can get to, you can take that disengage knowing that, you're not going to die from it. And at the very worst, you take a wound and you still have a life left. And so it was really, really a good game for me to play, because I would have probably, having not played these guys, valued them a little bit lower. But today, I am going to rank these guys at A-. More likely, they're probably a B+, because I think there's going to be just some matchups that completely walk all over them. But the reason I think they're A- is because I think there will be a lot of formats, whether it's low figure count or top tier units aren't going to get, a lot of play for whatever reason. Like, because there's a lot of formats that try to mitigate just how much the top units get played, right? But I think these guys are going to end up at around A- because I think you can just squeeze out so much value for 120 points here. Again, 4 figures divided by 120 is 30 points per figure. Normally that'd be pretty pricey, but you're getting 2 lives per figure, so it's 15 points per life, which is actually really, really cheap. That's actually one of the cheapest you can get. I mean, the cheapest aside from that is like Nagrubs. Nagrubs are a 3-figure squad for 30 points. That's 10 points per figure, per life, essentially, right? And these guys are at 15. That's pretty dang good. And again, they've got the stat block of Knights. Now, Knights are, hands down, in my opinion, the best melee bonding squad out there. These guys have bonding with the same heroes. They have the same stat block. They're a little bit slower. Obviously, you can only have 1 squad of them, but you're getting essentially 2 squads. And so you've actually got some really good options here for them to squeeze out a ton of value. And so again, I think if you were to play the best armies against the best armies, these guys probably still lose, which is why they're not A and not A+ and not S tier, but they're A-, because I think there's going to be a lot of formats where they will just perform consistently well. I don't think they're going to game break stuff. I don't think they're going to come out and just completely walk all over other units like some units kind of do. I don't think they're auto drafts like some of the top tier S tier stuff is. I just think they're going to be consistent, and they're going to fill their value and bring consistent value in armies, especially in a lot of quote unquote non-standard or non-S tier formats. And so I'm going to put them at A-. Again, I think over time we'll probably learn how to fight against them. They might kind of fall to more like a B+, just because it's, again, possible that common squads are just going to continue to live in the space of owning Heroscape competitively. But again, I think overall these guys are super solid. I think their bonding heroes really help a lot of their downsides. And even though you've got like Finn and Eldgrim and Thulgrim that can technically use their spirits to buff and their adjacency buffs, you can throw in Gilbert, right, and just be like, cool, like I'm just gonna dispatch them and use their run ability and develop them crazy fast on the map. Or you could basic and Gilbert gives them an attack buff, so they use run, they still get that bonus. Or you bond with Alistair and you say, cool, you're gonna, while I'm slowly developing them or whatever, I've got a dude that can run around and smack stuff super hard, right? So I just really like the implications of what they can do and the value that they're going to bring. I think there's going to be a lot of really good formats that people are going to enjoy bringing these guys to. So, all right, enough babbling for me. That's a wrap for the video today. Wanted to get in my another review for some Age of Annihilation stuff. Again, for me, Frostclaw Paladins, A- it is. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.